may you live every day of your life. Vision is the art of seeing things invisible. When the great genius appears in the world, you may know him by this sign, that the dunces are all in confederacy against him. It is useless to attempt to reason a man out of a thing he was never reasoned into. Every man desires to live long, but no man wishes to be old. We have just enough religion to make us hate, but not enough to make us love one another. Laws are like cobwebs, which may catch small flies, but let wasps and hornets break through. I never wonder to see men wicked, but I often wonder to see them not ashamed. He was a bold man that first ate an oyster. I cannot but conclude that the bulk of your natives, to be the most pernicious race of little odious vermin that nature ever suffered to crawl upon the surface of the earth. Undoubtedly, philosophers are in the right when they tell us that nothing is great or little otherwise than by comparison. Fine words. I wonder where you stole them. You should never be ashamed to admit you have been wrong. It only proves you are wiser today than yesterday. Every dog must have his day. Proper words in proper places make the true definition of style. The tiny Lilliputians surmise that Gulliver's watch may be his god, because it is that which, he admits, he seldom does anything without consulting. Satire is a sort of glass wherein beholders do generally discover everybody's face but their own, which is the chief reason for that kind reception it meets with in the world, and that so very few are offended with it. Happiness is the perpetual possession of being well deceived. Difference in opinions has cost many millions of lives. For instance, whether flesh be bread, or bread be flesh, whether the juice of a certain berry be blood or wine. That was excellently observed, say I, when I read a passage in an author, where his opinion agrees with mine. When we differ, there I pronounce him to be mistaken. We of this age have discovered a shorter, and more prudent method to become scholars and wits, without the fatigue of reading or of thinking. If a man makes me keep my distance, the comfort is, he keeps his at the same time. That was excellently observed, say I, when I read a passage in an author, where his opinion agrees with mine. When we differ, there I pronounce him to be mistaken. We of this age have discovered a shorter, and more prudent method to become scholars and wits, without the fatigue of reading or of thinking. If a man makes me keep my distance, the comfort is, he keeps his at the same time. The latter part of a wise person's life is occupied with curing the follies, prejudices and false opinions they contracted earlier. Some men, under the notion of weeding out prejudice, eradicate virtue, honesty and religion. This made me reflect, how vain an attempt it is for a man to endeavor to do himself honor among those who are out of all degree of equality or comparison with him. The best doctors in the world are Dr. Diet, Dr. Quiet, and Dr. Merriman. Ever eating, never cloying, all devouring, all destroying, never finding full repast, till I eat the world at last. A soldier is a Yahoo hired to kill in cold blood as many of his own species, who have never offended him, as possibly he can. Good manners is the art of making people comfortable. Whoever makes the fewest people uncomfortable has the best manners. The Stoical scheme of supplying our wants by lopping off our desires is like cutting off our feet when we want shoes.